So we've tried to start her and she's not going. What's the next step? What are we going to do now?
We're just checking the timing and the valve clearances.
Okay.
The distributor has been out, so we just need to make sure it's been put back in the right place so the timing is right. So we've just pulled the plugs out to rotate, to make rotating the engine a bit easier.
Okay.
So we're just bringing it around cylinder 1, top dead centre, and looking for a timing mark on the flywheel, which is
Okay.
hiding down the back there. Here it comes.
Can we see it turning?
It's a little dot on the flywheel and it lines up with the pointer.
You've got to get right in there.
Yep.
Right, so which one are we checking first?
So we check 6 from this end,
Yeah.
rotate it round to top dead centre on cylinder 6, and then start on the other end and check 6 coming back. So it's the first 3 and then skip 1, do this one, skip 1, do this one, skip 1, do that one. Check all of those and then mark our way back from the other end, cylinder 6, once we've rotated it. So.
Okay, let's get started. So we're still solving the mystery of no spark, and we've checked the timing and that was all okay, but there still wasn't a strong spark. Now we have to check a few other things and we're going to move on to a few more parts.
So we tested the condenser with the multimeter and it wasn't behaving the way we needed it to, or the way it should. So pretty simple fix or replace a part is just to put a new condenser in, which is what we're doing here. Condensers are all pretty similar in 6 cylinders. It's really the fitting, the size, the orientation of the wire and how it fits onto the contact points inside the points.
So with the condenser, we didn't have to get one particularly for this model. There was a few that we could get.
As I said, there's similarities between 6 cylinders of this era. Sometimes it's just the fitting on the end and how it connects inside the points.
Okay.
So here we're just tucking away the wires, making sure that nothing's going to clash or hinder the operation of the points. And there's a little fitting on the end of that black wire that connects where my thumb is there. Just making sure that's got a good contact and out of the way from the points. There we go, all tucked away. These cars are pretty simple. They're very inviting to work on, which is great.
What are you adjusting here?
There's two nuts on the end of that contact point, so you're going to connect from the coil into that, and then also secure your points and your condenser end.
So a brand new coil, which
Yep.
is going to help to get that new spark if that's the issue. So we
Yeah,
put a
well,
new
the old coil wasn't testing well either, so again, replace the coil. The original coils on these, they had a metallic, or not metallic, an aluminium casing on the outside. So one thing we had to check was to make sure how this new coil with a plastic outer cover earths, and these extra tabs sometimes there for additional earths. So this one didn't need an additional earth, so we removed some of those extra tabs, and also make sure the orientation of it's right. You've got to have positive coming in from your ignition, negative on the other side going out to the coil. So that's one thing that we checked, just removing the extra tabs here. So yeah, in terms of the ignition system, if your coil and your condenser aren't testing well, that is going to lead to not a very healthy spark, which is what we've identified as the main problem at the moment.
The mystery of the spark.
Yeah, she just needed a new spark. She was.
We all lose our spark
We
sometimes.
do, especially when we're that old.
What are you checking here?
So just fitting the points, so
Oh,
they
yeah.
have a sprung back on them that fits underneath that pin. This screw going in, that actually secures the points, and the secondary screw there, it's the adjustment, so that's how you adjust the size of the gap between the points. That's the adjusting screw there.
Does that affect the quality of the spark? Or
Yes, it does. Definitely the size of the spark, and so that has to be adjusted on the high points of the rotor shaft off the distributor.
Okay.
So we use a feeler gauge, the rotor cap, making sure that's orientated right. Pretty hard to get wrong. It only goes on properly one way. Making sure it's clean. The contacts are clean. Also inside the distributor cap is clean.
And this is where you're just measuring that
The gap.
in the points.
Yeah, in the points. So rotating the crank around to get the points to open up and measured at their maximum gap using the feeler gauge. All these little things collectively add up to a healthy spark happening at the right time,
Okay.
which is important.
All this has got to line up, doesn't it? With the top dead centre.
Yeah, well, if it's right for one, we set it all on cylinder one and provided everything else is where it needs to be with your timing gears, which we know it is. We've had the cover off and had a look. That was one of our early checks.
So
yeah,
you're just adjusting that gap here, aren't you?
that's right. Yep, that's the adjusting screw and just using a feeler gauge to get it right. And then once it's right, we'll lock off the clamp at the bottom of the distributor, which is what's happening right there.
Okay, so that's all in. Distributor's right.
Yep.
Coil's in. Condenser's in. Then
Now we've had these cap on and off so many times in the last week or so. I like to number them just because when you're putting them on and off so often, it just makes sure that you don't put one in the wrong spot. So just making sure that you're not making mistakes, because this can get a bit frustrating. It's been quite a process. The old girls just like the attention, I think.
a coil octopus, we call this.
Yeah.
There's just so many parts to it.
Yeah.
So what's that one there going in? Sorry, the coil from
That's
the
your centre lead that's just
distributor.
going to the coil.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether you remember, but the actual connection on the old coil was actually broken off there as
Yeah.
well. So, and I'm not sure whether the jump pack we were using repeatedly had anything to do with that burning out.
That's something else we're going to look into.
If anyone out there's had an experience where, use of a lithium jump pack on these older electrical systems has caused any issues.
So after changing all those parts, we tried to start her again, but she didn't want to go. She still wasn't running at that stage when we tried to start her. So the next thing we had to look at was the ballast resistor.
So one thing we found, this is probably the most important thing in this whole process, it's great to replace all those parts because those things are right. But when we tested the voltage, the feed-in voltage to the coil, it was only at about 7.5 volts, which is not what we needed. So by bypassing the ballast resistor, we got a full 12 volts coming into the coil, and that gave us a perfect spark, and she was very happy.
So now she's running. We're going to take her for a drive. We've got to put the rocker cover back on, and we're going to take her for a drive and see how she goes when we get back on the road, to make sure we've got everything sorted out and see how she runs.